Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Nick the Geek and this is a follow-up review of my Steam Deck approximately 2 months on from receiving it. In this video I just want to show how a few modern and not so modern games perform on it. Can you use Xbox Game Pass on the Steam Deck and have I had any issues with it? As always, this was bought with my own money. I'm not sponsored and my opinions are my own, so let's get started. The Steam Deck has had quite a few quality of life software updates since launch, and this passcode entry is one of them, coming about a month ago. I think this is quite a cool addition, as you can use various buttons and triggers on the Steam Deck to enter your passcode. This brings back memories of the old Nintendo cheat codes from years ago. Once you've entered your passcode, you're in your Steam library. Now, don't judge. You get your most recently accessed games at the top, but by pressing the Steam button you can go into a bigger library view. In here, you get to see all your games in the tiled view, but you can use the L1 and R1 buttons to switch between those which have been certified as great on deck, those which you have installed, and non-Steam installations such as the Chrome web browser. If you have a particularly large Steam library, then holding up or down on the D-pad will scroll through your library alphabetically so you can get to specific games quickly. So let's take a look at how some games perform on the Steam Deck and if it can handle relatively modern titles. We'll start off with Resident Evil Village. Now this yellow icon means that this has been certified as playable on Steam Deck, but might have some issues. Going into the Game Info tab in the library will show you any more information about what works and what might not. Here it says there may be some audio issues, nothing too bad, so let's get the game running. Now Resident Evil Village came out in 2021 and can take quite a beefy PC and graphics card to perform well, so it will be interesting to see how it performs on Steam Deck. Once you start the game, it performs any updates and synchronises your saves with the Steam Cloud. So if you also have a gaming PC that you're playing the game on, you can pick up your progress from where you left off. Now my Steam Deck is the 256GB version, which has the NVMe SSD. So if you do go for the 64GB eMMC version, you will experience longer loading times. Once you're in the game itself, then it's just like playing on PC using a game controller. Now personally I'd prefer to use a keyboard and mouse for FPS style games, but your mileage may vary. With default graphics settings and running at 720p, you can see the game is running nice and smooth, with no apparent graphical issues, or stuttering, or slowdowns. So that's enough of Resident Evil, let's take a look at another game. And for this one, we'll toss a coin to our Witcher. Now this is quite an old game now, having been out about 7 years, and I originally spent way over 100 hours playing and completing it on Xbox One. It received a Switch release in late 2019, and although it was a technical marvel getting The Witcher running on Nintendo's handheld, there was quite a cost to graphical fidelity in doing so. So it's always interesting to see how the full-fat PC version works on the Steam Deck. Now, this particular game, Witcher 3, has been verified as fully functional on Steam Deck, so you would expect a great gaming experience. Again, I'm just using default settings for the game, so let's see how it copes.
It's not exactly going our way.
We have a side.
The Northern Realms.
Radovid's realms, don't you mean? Temeria and Edirn are no more.
Radovid's pledged to restore the old borders as soon as he wins the war.
Believe that?
Gotta believe something. It's what keeps us going.
And as you can see, again the Steam Deck's performing beautifully in this early part of the game. Graphics are gorgeous, controls are responsive, and the game is running well. Before we move on to take a look at if Game Pass games work, let's go back in time 25 years and see if we can get an all-time classic working on Steam Deck. This is Monkey Island 3, a game from 1997, which I still have an original copy of somewhere in the garage. Now this game is marked as unsupported. It might work, it might not work, who knows? Well, spoiler alert, it originally didn't work, but you do have some options if you delve into the properties of the game, and you can choose a specific emulation layer for the game to run against. Changing this to a different version of Proton worked for me and allowed me to relive my youth. This Steam version of the game in particular runs under ScumVM, so other ScumVM games may work equally as well.
Hello. Can you tell me how to find the evil smugglers of Skull Island?
Beats me. Oh, wait a second. I think I remember something about that at the orientation seminar. Let me think. The cave is halfway down this sheer cliff face. Climb on board this dumbwaiter. I'll lower you down.
It looks pretty rickety. Are you sure it's safe?
No?
So if you're like me and you also have an Xbox, then you'll probably have a Game Pass subscription. Now obviously Game Pass games can't be used on Steam libraries, so you would potentially be a bit out of luck if you wanted to play them on your Steam Deck. Fortunately, Microsoft also have cloud streaming, which works with your Game Pass subscription, and have also put very detailed instructions on the Microsoft website about how to install a beta version of Microsoft Edge on your Steam Deck, which will allow you to enjoy your Game Pass games. Obviously, with streaming, you'd want to have a pretty good internet connection, but let's see how Forza Horizon 5 works on Steam Deck using my home gigabit Wi-Fi 6 connection. So, as you'd expect, loading times here are obviously dependent on the cloud provider, so faster Steam Deck storage won't necessarily help here.
Welcome back, Nick.
As you can see, the streaming experience is far better than my driving currently is. The controls are responsive, and there is no noticeable jerkiness in the stream. This is an incredibly viable way to play your Xbox games while out and about. Again, as long as you have a decent internet connection to back you up. So moving on to another older game. This is Arkham Origins running directly on the Steam Deck. So although a lot of the certified games work well with the Steam Deck controls, there are some other games which may have been designed for keyboard and mouse, which may not work particularly well with the default controller layouts. Fortunately, Valve have thought of this, and you have the choice of either making your own controller layouts in the game library screen, or you can have a look at and install one of many community layouts which have been made specifically for the game you want to play. So if you ever end up playing a game with dodgy controls or that just doesn't seem to work, this is the place to come and have a look. So, wrapping up, have I had any issues with my Steam Deck? Well, not with the console itself, but with the original case that I had that came with the Steam Deck. It somehow managed to destroy its zip the first time I tried closing it. So for some reason, the zip managed to chop its own fabric, and it made itself completely impossible to close the case. However, Valve and Steam support were brilliant, and they shipped me a new case straight out as soon as I sent them a video showing the problem. Would I recommend the Steam Deck? Absolutely. So far it's coped with all the games I've thrown at it, and when I've shown it to my friends and colleagues, a lot of them have put orders in the same day. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment below if there's anything else you'd like to see specifically or know. Until next time.